lots of tomatoes.
It's a typical afternoon for Carla and her 2 children. However, they're not watching TV or playing video games. They're headed down to the communal veggie patch.
So,
Mommy, covered salad.
oh no, that's chili. Oh, look at that!
Ooh, carrot.
Carrot. Look at that. That's exciting, isn't
The
it?
dirty one.
It's a dirty one. Why is it dirty?
Illabunda is a 5-acre eco-village in Sydney's northwest. The 20 residential houses have been designed and built with its sustainable living approach. Carla De Audney's family recently built their home at Illabunda and now source their organic produce from the gardens.
It's been a really long process to get here, but we're so glad that we took the risk. It was a difficult site, and designing the house was a bit tricky because we had to comply with a lot of different standards, so higher standards in terms of thermal efficiency and things, but so glad we did.
Abdul Rashid also lives in the village. For him, it means he no longer needs to spend money on buying vegetables. But he does use another resource to pay for his food, spending around 10 hours a week in the gardens.
In the market, when we want to buy, we can have that organic vegetables, but they are too much expensive and we are not sure about it. But here we are growing by ourselves and having the food, we know everything about it. I think that is the most important thing.
So is this style of communal food production a sustainable and practical way to cut out the cost of expensive organic produce?
Because normally when I used to go to market to buy the vegetables weekly, at least around $14, $15 or $20 a week I used to buy. But when I have these vegetables for the last 2-3 months, I am not buying at all any vegetables from the market.
Look, I think different people do it differently. I know that some of the couples who don't have children, they would make an entire dinner with the produce from the garden.
The average Australian household spends around $1,200 on fruit and veg every year. And whilst it hasn't been easy to cut out the cost entirely, Carla's family is seeing some of the financial and practical benefits.
So thinking a little bit more about the menu that I plan each week around what's already here, or if someone's given me something from the garden, because often that will happen, someone will kind of pop round with something that's, that they've just picked, or they've picked a couple and they only needed one, So a pumpkin got delivered to us the other day, so we're having pumpkin soup, which means that basically for a couple of nights we will have spent nothing.
Dana Cordell is a food sustainability researcher in Sydney. And whilst she believes eco-villages are a way to tackle food prices, she says there's a bigger problem around food production in Australia.
Well, there's a whole spectrum of ways that I think food consumers can contribute to food sustainability in the city. As you sort of suggested, one way is to be producing our own food either individually or in a community setting, such as the eco-village setting you're talking about. There's not one right or wrong way to do this. We're going to need to have a diversity of food production systems.
Ooh, can you hold it in your hand?
Whilst this is an environmentally friendly way to reduce your food budget, there are some obvious flaws.
Agriculture is not always profitable because they need the amount of labor and input. The return normally is not profitable.
If we're producing food more locally and indeed in our own backyards, then we're buffering against the potential food price fluctuations in the future, like we saw in 2008, that are very much affected by, say, the price of fuel and oil or fossil fuel scarcity. So that's one great way that by producing our own food we can buffer against those prices.
I know the goal here was that sort of 70 to 80% of our fruit and veg would come from here, for the households here. So, I believe that we could do that.
And for the residents at Illabunda, this seems to be on the right track. Pablo Viñales, Shoestring Magazine.